Go back just 2 or 3 years and you may have called me delusional for saying some of the most happening cars and one of the most happening brands in the Indian car market is Tata Motors. Yes, that turnaround is something we have been discussing for a while. It's been smart, it's been strategic, it has been very effective, and of course the vehicles are bang in the middle of everybody's consideration set depending on the segment you talk about. There is another huge part of that strategy which has also been unfolding, and that is safety. So couple all of that together and you see exactly where all of this is going. And we've just seen a refreshed version of the Safari and Harrier braking cover. It's time for those cars to hit the market just before Diwali. So much to talk about then with Shailesh Chandra from Tata Motors. It's great to see you.
Great to see you too, Siddharth.
It's been very happy sort of times of late that we have met, because you seem to, as a brand and as a company, knock one milestone off after the other. These two cars, of course, the refresh was pending anyway. Let's start with that new spec. The significance and the importance of having these arrive into the market right now.
See, Harrier and Safari is a segment which has been growing very fast, and we expect that these two products which are positioned in this high SUV segment, as we call, is the next big thing in the market. And that's why we thought that while Harrier Safari was doing well in the market, we thought that we should be the segment leading product here. And therefore, we came slightly earlier than what was expected. You typically see 3 years time period before you come with a refresh. Harrier Safari was launched only in 2021. So we thought that we should upgrade these cars on technology, safety, as well as the comfort features. So if you see these two cars, which are very different kind of customer profiles that we have seen. Safari is for people who have already achieved a lot of success in their life, very busy lifestyle, but they want to reclaim their life, want to spend some time with their family, friends, and therefore the 7-seater works really well. Whereas in Harrier, we have seen the young achievers with this modern warrior kind of a mindset that they want to also prize them as they are winning and succeeding in their life. So very young achiever kind of a crowd there. So we thought that now, since we have a better understanding of how the two customer profiles are panning out in these two vehicles, let us bring those differentiation and upgrade them to the next level in all the three aspects that I said. So if you see the technology part, whether you talk about the very modern kind of infotainment system or a cluster, you don't find that you are in a 2015 kind of a tablet sitting in a car while you are using a very modern mobile phone. So all those kind of changes we have made. We have brought 50 plus connected car, etc. So a host of new technology, even on the lighting side, if you see. On comfort side, a bit of more detailing on the rear passenger. For example, rear passenger is the one who signs the check. So you need to give, say for example, a sunshade, right? Or a convenient electric tailgate, right? Or a dual zone AC, right? Those kind of comfort features have been given. On safety, I think we have taken it to the next level. One, the focus had been a lot on the passive safety, but it also has now gone into the ADAS, which is the active safety part with 12 plus features. And the structure has been made more robust, I would say, in the entire load path, more reinforcements, use of more high strength steel. And as a result of these two, I'm very happy to share with you that not only GNCAP has given us 5-star rating for both the cars, but they are the highest ever score that the two cars have achieved in India for both adult as well as child safety. So I think with all these upgrades, it's a very comprehensive upgrade aligned to different customers profile that we see, but also for different personas. We have brought these two vehicles, and I'm hoping that this is going to be really a great success in the market.
It's great timing too, with the festive season right upon us. Before I get to the products and your strategy with them in the market, let's talk a little bit about that safety piece, because this is consistent. We've seen this from Tata Motors for some time. The Nexon was the first 5-star car in the previous protocol. This is now your first set of results in the new protocol, which makes it even more stringent. And then to achieve the highest score is very creditable. There is also this talk about now how much of the action shifts to Bharat NCAP. But before I go there, You mentioned that this was something that was done with a very strategic intent as well. That buyer that you're talking about, with the previous Harrier or Safari, there were these things that would come up, technology being one, the size of the screen, etc. But was safety like a area where you felt there was a demand in a way, especially compared to what's in the market?
Yes. So safety, also if you already mentioned about Nexon was the first car, I would say, which attained the 5-star, and therefore there was a thinking of slowly, kind of converting all our products with this 4 or a 5-star rated. But earlier the thinking was that we should be the best safety rated car in their respective segments. In Harrier Safari, actually in 2021 when we launched Safari, we also wanted to offer these two cars for the safety rating, and at that point in time we also came to know that there was this new protocol which was going to come, and therefore it became a timing issue whether we should offer it now or whether we should combine the upgrade with the new norm and then position it. And that is how this, kind of delay in terms of offering the car to the GN cap.
And the protocol
happened.
change
And
also
the
got
protocol,
delayed a little bit, to be fair.
That's it. So that has been the background of why we did not offer it earlier.
And the marketplace, do you think that because this segment, if you look at the competition, that's not really a space that's been sort of claimed by anybody as such.
Correct.
Now you have seen competitors like Hyundai talking about 6 airbag standard, etc.,
Right.
which of course is the case with you as well now with these products. But could that be the differentiator for this kind of buyer?
Absolutely, this should be the differentiator. But thinking was not from a segment perspective; it was a portfolio thinking.
That's
that
fair.
we should have the safest car, and that has been broadly the thought process behind it. And I'm sure that with this kind of a safety rating, and on top of that all the tech, modern tech that we have given along with a lot of convenience features, this should be a hot seller, hopefully.
Well, Shailesh, you started by saying that there was a very clear intent from Tata to say that we want to occupy more of the segment. We want, higher market share. In fact, looking for segment leadership. How much of a pressure does that put on pricing in that case? It's a tough tightrope walk.
It is because given the kind of features that you have added, there is a significant cost increase.
Exactly.
But we always want to land smoothly with the customers. So let's hope that we are able to, whatever we announce is going to be attractive to the customers, because they should get more value for the money.
It's about value, yeah.
Yeah, more
not the
value for the
price.
money that we are giving. Yeah.
Overall.
And this customer and the segment is not that sensitive to slight differences in prices. So
Quick question about, this is something that has come up before, and we keep having this expectation, or at least the consumer does, about petrol options for, if not the Safari, at least the Harrier. The market certainly has shown a lot of acceptance for SUVs with petrol. What's your stance? I mean, there was an expectation it will come with the
it's a
facelift.
fair expectation, and I would say that initial focus was on serving where the customer's inclination is. And today also, if you see 80% of the 200,000 annual demand that you have in this segment is diesel. People prefer diesel because of better torque, performance, fuel efficiency, and so on.
Yeah.
And therefore, that was the initial focus. But having said that, there's no reason why we should not be serving the rest of the 20%, and which is
might grow also.
expected to grow,
Yeah.
as you rightly say. And it's work in progress. We have a 1.5 liter GDI on which we are working on. We had showcased that in the Auto Expo. We are in the process of developing the engine. We then have to integrate it into the vehicle. We have to then install the capacities. So it's more than 1 year away, I would say, but it's going to come.
But that's still the foreseeable future, so
Yes,
that's
yes.
good news.
Yeah.
When it comes to your overall strategy with the portfolio, we've seen, of course, I mentioned at the start about how we've seen this massive sort of resurgence. That's been well documented. I think everybody has spoken about it, and we certainly have in the past. But there is also this feeling that now, you can sort of get a little more down to business, as it were. From a volume strategy, is it fair to say that today you might be also considering a margin strategy, a profitability strategy?
Absolutely. Both have to go hand in hand.
True.
Right. And if your volumes are growing, market share are growing, your profitability will also grow. I think all of them go together. At the center is that you have to be a profitable business, generating returns similar to what any other company would be doing. And we have gone through this
Or
journey in the
better.
last, yeah, or better, and we have been going through this journey
Yeah.
for quite some time. And if you see, if you just split the businesses into ICE and EV, on EV we are investing right now. We are in the phase of investing heavily in portfolio creation and generation of demand for this segment. So therefore profitability is low, right, in this segment. Whereas if you see the latest quarterly results on the ICE side, it is very, very similar to what you would see for any other top company when you talk in terms of EBITDA or such kind of profitability numbers. So we have to still do more 200 to 300 bips additional to be there. On EV side, you'll see very fast progress on improvement of profitability. And in the quarter two itself, one should expect better profitability than what we had shared in quarter one, with battery prices coming down. There is a lot of localization that we have done, very smart choices on generation 2 aggregates, which has also not only given a uh, more efficient aggregates, but also better on cost. So I think all these initiatives are going to, so
And that's good
profitability
timing.
is a focus.
Yeah, and that's good timing that some of those
Yes.
costs came down at the same time.
Yeah.
But speaking of timing, it's let's break that down a little bit, because we've also seen, call it coincidence or call it just something that you didn't have a choice with, where we've seen a lot of investment, a lot of capex has happened almost at once. I mean, you have had a massive upgrade on now 3 model lines in a way. You've had that happen within a span of just 2 months, which means obviously some of those investments also happened concurrently. And then, like you said, there is still so much investment going into EVs. There is an expectation of new products coming on the EV side, which are slightly maybe more sophisticated, perhaps higher margin, but definitely higher segments. How did that work out with the board? I mean, in terms of having all these investments happen almost at once.
Yes. So it's very simple. See, there are two different businesses, as I said, ICE and EV. EV will go through its investment phase, and there will be patience that will be needed, and everyone is aligned to that. Right.
And having that separation probably helps.
That
For
separation,
clarity.
there are two legal entities, different
Yeah.
legal entities with their different investment plan. So PV business will be self-sufficient. Whatever investments we are making, whatever you have seen, the launches which have come, you will see more upgrades which are going to come for the rest of the portfolio. There are additional nameplates which are going to come. This entire thing will be self-funded by the PV ICE business itself. On the EV side, we are creating the full portfolio. So the revenue will not be able to, support the entire portfolio. So that's why the funding has come in this business. PV ICE does not have to subsidize. This will, through the investment which has come and through the internal accruals which will be generated by this business at an EBITDA level. So there will be operating cash flow which will be generated, will all support in making this business profitable over a period of time. So therefore, very clear plans for both the businesses. One is self-funding, one will go through certain period of cash burn, but there is a clear path in terms of how it has to be funded to create this whole portfolio so that we are ready for the future.
And if anybody has visibility on volume right now, with EV, it is you in any case. I caught what you said about new nameplates on the ICE side. How many, how relevant is that? How necessary is that?
It is necessary because, see, the upgrades and refreshes that you bring in your existing portfolio at best gives you marginal improvement in your market shares, and that also temporary. And therefore, it is imperative that if you have to grow your market share, then you have to add new nameplates. And we have already announced 2 of them at least in the Auto Expo, which is Curvv and Sierra. One comes in 2024, the other one comes in 2025. We are contemplating more nameplates, but once we have finalized it, we'll be very vocal about them.
When you
But,
look at, sorry,
But there are segments which are still growing well, very attractive, and therefore our idea has always been to spot such segments and make those choices.
you partly answered what I was going to ask, because is it looking at segments where you don't have a presence, or is it also looking at a sort of maybe even an overlapping strategy to just kind of gain greater consumer share?
No, it will be a distinct segment where we are not there, and where we see that there's at least a stable or a growing demand in future. So we would like to definitely participate in that segment.
The area where there's also now increasing action and potentially could be more is also what you opened up with the Punch. With more competition coming, do you see that end of the market also becoming more exciting for you, because you've already got a lot of equity in that space?
Of course, you have just seen that there is a competition product which got launched recently, and it just expanded the segment. And rather, our volumes increased from 10,000 to 14,000 on the back of, I would say, the twin cylinder technology that we brought in CNG. That has really expanded. So I believe that it would go through the same journey what we saw in the compact SUV segment, which is the Nexon segment. When we launched Nexon, this segment would have been like 25,000-30,000 a month. Today it is 90,000. So there will be expansion of the subcompact segment, SUVs, possibly cannibalizing the hatches, is what I see.
Even more.
Even more, yes.
All right, let's try and bring this to a close. I know you have a busy day. The festive season, of course, gives you a launch pad like it does every year. Does it take on a more special meaning for you this year in terms of, maybe even achieving new sort of sales targets or records?
We want to do well in the festive season. Seems first 2 days seems to be very strong.
Yeah.
And we are hopeful that with the new launches, they should only support a very strong retail and registration for us. So that's the ambition. And let's see on the other side.
What's the projection? I mean, in terms of, like, now, of course, we also spoke about, the new plant coming on stream when it does. Are you in a place where you would like to have had it yesterday on stream, or are you okay for a few months in terms
We
of?
are absolutely fine because we have the additional capacity which helps us in our joint venture factory, which is Apple. So we have that headroom available for us. At the same time, the two other plants which we had in Sanand and Pune is, of course, very overloaded, I would say, nearly 100% capacity utilization. Sanand gives us some flexibility in certain shops if we fall short of capacity. Sanand 2, which is the one which we acquired from Ford, is getting ready for operationalizing it in the next calendar year. So I think we have enough headroom to deal with any immediate demand increase and all. As you increase the nameplates, that is when that capacity has to kick in.
So the last point then is also something that we've talked about before. We've seen, of course, some amount of this happening, but never really at the scale where I'm sure you would like, which is looking at markets outside India. Given the strength the brand today has domestically, do you think this is the right time to start pushing on that front? Because again, you would need big investments to really make any kind of a dent.
Yes, absolutely. And I would say this would be true for both now ICE as well as EVs.
Yeah.
EVs more because it does not have the handicap of what we had in ICE, being few, generations behind in emission norms and all, and safety also, I would say. In ICE, I think it is pretty much harmonized with the key markets across the globe. In EVs, we have a very strong opportunity, I would say. We have to choose the markets properly, and that is what we are in the process of doing. Certain vehicles are being tested also in certain markets, good feedback, and we want to go fully ready in those markets to have a meaningful presence. And hopefully in the coming year, we should be able to give a comprehensive strategy of what ambitions we have in the international business.
In fact, with EV, you're right. That's something we've seen from a variety of players, including a lot of the Chinese brands who are really making inroads in places like, let's say, even in Western Europe. So would you look at this as that typical approach of, what analysts expect, that you go to the emerging markets, you go to Africa, you go to Latin America, or are you also examining some of the developed markets?
We should examine the developed market because they will transition to electric faster, and therefore that should be the focus. I think you would see that most of the globally sold electric vehicles are upwards of $30,000 or euros also, whereas we are selling our cars which are anywhere between $8,000 to $30,000. This will be the range of vehicles. So
it's an opportunity.
It definitely fits into a differentiated proposition in those markets. So we would seek for that kind of an opportunity. And the cars are really good because when we show these cars to any customer in the Europe, they just love it. So
yeah, acceptance is not the issue anymore. But is there any synergy on EV specifically with JLR?
We are exploring synergies mainly for the pure EVs, and it's work in progress, I must say, but I clearly see a good opportunity not only in the EV space but also SDVs, electronic architecture. So there are a lot of work which is in the exploratory phase, I would say.
Exciting times, and I could keep talking with you, as you know,
Yeah.
but I'm going to let you go. Many congratulations on the 5-star result. You know how I feel about that. So it's
Absolutely.
great to see the performance of both these cars, and congrats to you and the team.
Thank you, Siddharth. It was nice interacting with you, and please keep promoting the safest cars in India.
Always, always, and all the best for the festive season.
Thank you.